Where are we? It's on the. There we are. Hola, buenas noches a todo. Everybody, I just want to introduce DL Cycle Fabs to the podcast, and I want to thank you both for taking the time to. Even though we've been waffling on for about 20 minutes, and I've been trying to fucking fight a camera for the last half an hour. It's slow. You can see it's fucking moving already. Can you see it moving? It's moving. So anyway, boys, obviously, we've been chatting a bit off air and whatnot, and it's introduce yourselves and like tell your story. Let's hear where it all started and what got you into bikes.
Well, I'm Dom.
I'm Dean.
He's an alcoholic.
I am.
It's like a little AA meeting. Oh God, where he started. I'll say where he started for me. I think bike-wise, like both our families have always been into bikes and had bikes.
Yeah.
When I was younger, my mum and all her family, like my granddad, my aunties, all rode. But me and my older brother started getting into bikes around like 2003, 2004. Is when I first back off like, they're kind of cool. I really want to ride. I really want one of them. And then from there, I just got really interested in bikes. And as cliche as it is, for the custom side of it, it was Jesse James and Billy Lane are what got me into the custom side.
Legends.
Back in 2014, when the first episode of Biker Build Off aired over here, I sat on the couch just before college and watched it, and then I'd never seen another episode. I thought I'd just dreamt most of it. I'd never seen anything like that before. It was the first Biker Build Off with Billy Lane against Roger Bourget. And watched that, I thought that's really cool. I really want to build stuff like that. How do I do it? And then proceeded to spend the next 20 years learning how to do it all.
And that's it, and it's like at the end of the day, like we were saying off air, like you just, apart from obviously learning how to weld correctly, and obviously making sure that anything structural is sound, like, and even that really, like, I think as long as you learn how to weld properly, the rest of it really is just fucking having a go in it. The
more you practice, the better at it you get.
Yeah.
I spent 3 years at college doing at night school, learning how to weld. And my teacher at college is actually a really good friend of ours, a phenomenal bike builder, and decided that because he knew what I wanted to do with building my own frames and forks, and like pretty much every part of a bike. When I was doing once I'd finished all my exams on it, he just set me up welding tests to show me how to structurally weld a frame together. And then my younger brother, he's a welder. He used to build heat exchangers and pressure vessels. So he taught me a lot as well and showed me like little bits on different materials like welding alley and stainless.
Yeah, and it's not. I can't imagine it's easy, is it?
No, it's not. It's easy enough to blow holes through stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you boys have seen what I've been doing. I'm fucking learning how to blow holes in shit at the moment.
But you got to start somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Look, when you were welding the tabs onto the subframe, they weren't all like nice chicken shit welds. They were great.
To be fair, like I built the subframe about 6 years ago, and obviously that was just built from straight tube. I bent all the tubes, and I got some lugs machine to go because obviously it's an alley frame into a steel subframe. And I've used the original pickup points, so the original points of the original subframe. So I haven't actually structurally altered the integrity of the stress points. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All I did is I just bent I did fundamentally did a 45 degree that way and then did a 45 degree that way. And I rose the ride height about 4 inches. But I fucking like used, what did I use? Like 3 mil wool thick tube. And then I put like 6 mil. Probably way over engineered it, but obviously
You can never over-engineer it. Like one thing I learned back in the day was it was actually from Billy as well. Like where at the point when you're building something, if you think it's overkill, go one step further.
Yeah,
and that'll make sure that it is that you know it's going to hold up. Because like with all my frames, I use like 3.5 mil thick, like seamless cold rolled tubing.
Yeah,
because it's going to be. I mean, for the most part, you can probably get away with thinner stuff. But I think if for overkill, and I know it's going to be strong, and you with that as well, thicker tubing, you can put a little bit more heat in, and you're not worrying about blowing holes through it because you can get really good penetration with a bit more heat.
Yeah, and fucking expensive though, isn't it? Seamless, Jesus.
Oh, it's horrible. It's like, 95 quid a length.
Fucking hell.
And
I mean, so are you boys building? Are you building like from headstock down frames then, or?
Yeah, everything. We the CNC shop that does all our billet work for us. Also, we started machining all our own necks.
Oh, nice.
And the actual plate, we had to get them laser cut. A fair few of them, like all the engine mounting tabs, and if we're building just flat axle plates, we'll just have them all cut one of the local companies that we use for most of our bits. Build everything from there.
So like what? So obviously we kind of like jumped from like you got into bikes and that, but at what point did you like realize that you could actually fundamentally make a business and start to like pay your bills with this? So, you know, surely at some point you started to see, what was it? Was it you built a bike and all of a sudden it made to a magazine and like, or was it like that type of?
It was because of the industry really, and just like the people that were around all the time. I started off just tinkering with my bikes because I couldn't afford to pay anybody to fix them. So it was just I learned from doing, and then like a lot of my friends and family all right, like, oh, well, you can fix that. Can you fix this for me? And it just spiraled from there. And then I got to the point like halfway through riding, where I got into the street fighter scene for a fair few years. So I used to build like sports bikes and street fighters, and then from there, I just thought, well, I really want to try my hand at building a shop. So took one of the street fighters that I built and chopped the crap out of it, and it was actually building really nice customs.
So you started you started building chops out of like inline fours then originally.
Yeah, the first one I ever built was an XJ600, a 1999 XJ600.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I got a I got between me and my mate, we've got a 83, 84 XJ. It's a 550 frame with a 600 motor in it. So we're gonna build like a cafe racer style. I mean, I like building, like, obviously the tank that I'm cutting up at the moment is for my 125 bobber. Like, so I can go from fucking about with a bobber to fucking around with a cafe racer, or, you know, like, just the only thing I don't, for me, it's road bikes. I'm not like plastic fairing. No.
No, generally, like with our stuff, it's like we'll do it. We'll do anything. Like we do service and repairs on pretty much any bike.
Yeah.
So we'll do all the jack bikes, 125s, like all the Chinese imports. Like if we can fix them, we'll fix them. But predominantly, like, we are a Harley shop. Our bread and butter is working on like custom Harleys, or even just doing servicing on them.
Yeah.
Like, because now with Manchester Harley shutting down, there isn't another shop round that does all the service and repair work round there, or not near us. There's a few. I mean, there's a couple over at the other side of Manchester, but like in the area that we are, there's us.
Yeah. A lot of people don't touch Harleys around here, no, apart from us.
No, the
so, have you boys had the luxury of the new stuff, or like the M8 stuff? And
no, we predominantly stick to older stuff. It was when we first opened up in here. It was we stuck to 2014 and earlier.
Yeah.
because we became really good friends with all the Manchester Harley lot. And, we work to deal out with them because they don't work on, like, they don't do any of the older bikes. So they used to send people to us with all the old stuff, like all the shovels, Evos, and like early 2000 twin cams. And anything later than 2014 upwards, we just send them. It just became a really good partnership with them, and they're really good friends. They supported us.
No, that's it, isn't it? Like you say, it's obviously like we were saying earlier. Like, you know, really, we do all need to just stick together, because at the end of the day, like whether we all want to get on or not, the government don't want us on the road, so they're trying. So it just makes sense for us all to stick together, really.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Ride bikes, that's what we love doing. So
exactly, don't matter where you're from, who you're with, or who you ride with, or whatever. Like we all have a mutual love of motorcycles, regardless of what brand they are. I mean, people, we get it all the time because we ride Harleys. Like, everybody slags us off and slates us because they're dead slow, they're sluggish, they're dead expensive, and it's all like, I was under that misconception until I got one that Harleys were dead expensive and you couldn't build them on a budget, and they're actually cheaper to build than a jack bike.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, my old man's got a Harley, but I mean, to be fair, like I mean, my budget is like, I mean, like that. So that 125 tank, that's a Chinese bike, and you know, I couldn't even afford a Harley engine. Like, literally, it's just at the moment, it's just the way things are. And I look at the price of Harleys. First of all, I don't even understand how to even price them. So when I was at Triumph Garage in York the other day, I looked at it was a 2015 1200 Sportster. About that era. Yeah, it was about 2015, 2000. About 2000. It was Evo. It was an Evo Sportster.
Yeah.
And then they had a I can't remember what it was. It was an Evo, a 1450 Evo, with twin shocks. So is it an FXR? FXR? Is it an FXR with the twin shocks? Anyway, so
Evo would be FXR.
Yeah.
So it was a 1450 Evo, cheaper than the 1200 Sportster.
Yeah, it's stupid at the moment, the way the
Couldn't get my head around it. Could not get my head around it.
No. It, like us, it baffles us. Like the road glide that we've got, like that, for what it is. Like, there's people selling Sportsters for the same price as what you can get a big twin bagger for. Like, there's so many out there now, because obviously with Sportsters, they got discontinued over when they started producing the Sportster S. So
which 3 years ago, wasn't it? About 3 years ago.
Yeah. So everybody went, oh no, they're rare as hell now. He's like, they're not. They're the longest running Harley. They've been around, like the Sportster's been around since 1957.
Yeah, the Ironhead. Yeah.
Ones that they've seen thousands of.
Yeah.
So they're everywhere, but now people look at them, and even just for a stock 883, there's people asking $7-8 for it.
Yeah. I think it's the hipsters, isn't it? I mean, it's the fact that like lowbrows and all them companies are building literally like learn how to weld hardtail kits. Like you never touched them, and they've made them that good now. And then with the power of YouTube, which is obviously, that's not knocking anybody, and it's incredible that people are brave enough to do it. Like the kits are that good that fundamentally you can make I like a Sportster. Like, I like the narrowness of them. I like the fact that they look like you can. I've never ridden one, but I like the fact they look like you can chuck them about and actually.
You can. Everybody slates me saying that the girls' bikes because they're so small and then dead nimble, but that's what makes them. That's what makes them awesome, because even just the 883s, if you do a bit of work to the engine on them, then they will shift. And you can throw them around like fun, and it's a Sportster. Like, back in the day, I think when I bought mine, I think I only paid like $3,000 for it.
Which is where they should be, really.
Yeah, it's a Sportster. They're entry-level Harleys. They're effectively the starting point Like we were actually talking about this before. Like you go, normally the progression is you get a Sportster, then you buy a Dyna, and then you go to a bagger. It's generally the way like the Harley trends are going at the moment. But like everybody slates sporties, and they're fantastic bikes.
Yeah.
And because there's so many of them about, this part like there is a giant aftermarket, and even just Harleys in general, there's a giant aftermarket for them where you can pretty much get everything you need.
Yeah. It's just obviously like you say, it's trying to warrant like the prices just don't make any sense. Like you say, you can go from. I mean, when my dad was looking at his sport, and this is obviously pre-COVID, my old man bought his Harley, and he was like, he'd show me a picture of a Harley. Oh, what do you think to that? And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's cool. And he'd show me the price. It was like $6-7 and then he'd show me a picture of another one, same type of thing. Obviously, he was looking for for an Evo 1450, and then it'd be, oh, what do you think to that one? And I'd be like, I don't really like it. And then you scroll down, it's like $10. I'm like, why is it more? It looks shit. And he's like, oh, well, it's got this chrome on it, that chrome on it. And I just said to him, I was like, mate, get rid of all the fucking chrome. Like, send it all off to powder coaters. I fucking hate chrome.
Oh, see, I love it. Shiny.
Crazy, yeah.
You don't like chrome either?
Oh, no, we love it. We like magpies.
No.
Powder coat, mate. Shiny and sparkly.
Yeah.
Like with most of my paint jobs, they've got to have a handful of metal flake thrown in somewhere.
Oh, no, that's cool. Yeah, metal flake's cool. But chrome, it's like, what is it they say? Who is it? Someone said the other week on podcast, chrome don't get you home.
Sure looks good pushing.
Yeah. No, it's...
I think it's actually Jimmy that said that.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, I think it might have been on the lads from Two Choppers. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it's like, and when he bought his Harley, he's got like all the bills, all the receipts from whoever initially had changed all the chrome. It was like $2,000 worth of chrome, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, it does get pricey. I mean, like with half of the stuff that we do, whether it is like with the full builds, because we only do like complete custom builds. We just do Harleys because that's what we set up for.
Yeah,
and like all our suppliers, like we're dealers for pretty much pretty much every aftermarket parts manufacturer.
Yeah,
through like Parts Europe, Custom Chrome, Storehouse, and Zodiac. So we've got access to pretty much anything that you need for a Harley, and some jack bike bits through Parts Europe. But for the most part, we do like all the big custom builds are all Harley. The way we do it, if it doesn't already come chromed, we don't send it out because chrome is bloody expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Have you boys heard that they're looking to ban it?
Chroming?
Ban chrome?
Yeah. I heard that. I've heard that they're looking to ban it across the world. Across the world. Hence why there's a lot of powder, a lot of that imitation powder coat starting to become popular now, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the actual chromium phosphate that they use for it. They started trying to ban it in 2015. So and they brought out a load of new regulations for some of the big shops, like in the dip tanks that they've got to run them in. They have to be sealed in the floor, and you got to have big drain out, wash out tanks off to the side for certain industries. But yeah, they've been trying it for a while, just because like I say, the chromium phosphate that they use for it is ridiculously toxic. Once you've emptied like the tank, I think it's to do with like the disposing of all the sludge and everything that accumulates in it.
Yeah, I mean that's a darn shame, isn't it?
It is. I like the chrome.
You watch. Let me
plate with everything.
Yeah,
I've got to admit, I do prefer nickel plating over chrome because it gives it that more it gives it a warmer feel. It's halfway between a stainless sheet, like a stainless polished stainless piece, and chrome's, and it tarnishes beautifully as well.
I mean, to be fair, like I interviewed James from James Custom Cycle Supplies. He builds handlebars over in Florida. Yeah, and he had a set of bars sent off to be powder coated in that new chrome setup, and I think it looks pretty cool because it almost has more like a, what would you call it, like an oil slick finish, like that. I personally prefer that over chrome, but yeah, because it had like almost like a bit of a black tinge to it, you know.
Yeah, it does. It's a bit darker. Like I've got a wheel powder coated in chrome. It's back from when it was first coming on the scene, and it does look really nice. Like some of the stuff now, like the powder coaters that we use, they've got what they call the super chrome. And looking at it, if you didn't know it was powder coat, you wouldn't be able to tell.
Really?
Yeah, and
no, that's cool.
I don't know whether it's just the way they apply it or what it actually is, but it could be. Normally, as you'll have seen with like most normal powder coat, it is kind of orange, peely, and ripply.
Yeah, there is a bit going on.
The stuff that they do, it's like a mirror.
Is it?
It's amazing.
It's just again like that's the prices are going through the roof. I mean, I need to get a load done on that 125 that I'm building. It's like because it's a Chinese 125, it's only worth like 600 quid. Like,
yeah,
and I think to be fair, I reckon very quickly you're spending near on that just in powder coat, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. Depending where you go,
yeah,
you can get ridiculous on it.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? So it's so have you boys got a full ground up build going on at the moment then?
Yeah. The Road Glide, the red Road Glide that's on lift. That one, it actually came from Colorado.
Wow.
It came from a police auction in Colorado as a parts bike, but we bought it and it was just too good to destroy and like pull it apart. Again, the magpie in us took over. It's got a big billet performance machine, 21-inch front wheel. It's beautiful. And we ended up with somebody lined up to buy it. So we went and got it, and then they backed out the day before that we went picking it up.
Oh no!
Stuck with it. And it's just been rebuilt.
Yeah.
So,
is that what style? What have you done with it? What style have you done with that? A bagger?
Yeah. Hang on, turn it sideways. That one.
Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's cool.
That's it's pretty much just had everything done to it. Every part of it's near enough new. All the bodywork's brand new. It's had the engine completely rebuilt. It's now a 103 with everything all replaced. The original engine on it grenaded.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. Whoever had it over in the States didn't adjust the push rods right, blew the cam chest to pieces, and it just destroyed the entire engine.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't sound.
Always the cases.
Yeah.
Like look at the bottom end. It's had all new cylinders, heads, pistons, crank, full cam chest, all transmissions been rebuilt. It's got a brand new clutch in it because that got when it blew itself up and chewed itself to pieces. Well.
Bloody hell! So like with so was you not interested in doing like the exaggerated bags, like dragging them down and all that, or you just wanted to keep it like practical?
Yeah,
it was more keep it as a practical one that pretty much anybody can jump on and ride. And like, I was never a fan of baggers. I used to slate them so much, and now that we've got this in the shop, I really like that. It's not actually that bad.
Yeah,
and like I just like building things. No matter what it is, I'll build anything. But with that one, it is just sticking with like performance orientated like bagger. Like a lot of the inspiration for it has come from like Ryan Cruzy at Cruzy Originals and all the actual performance and stunt baggers that they build.
Yeah,
like, not that I'll ever be able to do anything close to what they can, but the style is.
I've actually spoke to him in the DMs. He's just obviously really busy because obviously I interviewed. This is what I mean. I keep starting to forget names now. I interviewed a lad that's from the same town as him. That he built. He knows him, and I spoke to him about wanting to reach out to him. So I managed to. I think he'd let him know that I was trying to because obviously you boys know yourself. some of the messages end up dropping into the request section or whatever, and you don't see them.
Yeah.
So I think he'd mentioned to it that I was he mentioned to him that I was trying to get hold of him, and then he did actually reply to me. So hopefully at some point I'll have Cruzy on the pod, because I watch his stuff. I'm still warming to the idea of these performance baggers. I mean, I love watching them on the AMA, you know, on the American Superbike.
Yeah.
I love watching them on there.
Mission King of the Baggers. I think
King
that's what did it for me. Started watching Mission King of the Baggers last year, and then watching like Kyle Wyman and James Rispoli just being it round a track at super like hundreds. I think last weekend at the Daytona 200, I think James Rispoli clocked 180 mile an hour on a bagger.
Yeah, and you got old Jerry McWilliams still having a go. It's like, oh lad.
It's mental what you can actually do. Like the biggest misconception, especially with the Harleys, is that they're slow.
Yeah.
Everyone's they're slow and they're sluggish. It's like they're not. Granted, for some of them, you do have to put a lot of money in to get them to go fast. But what bike don't you have to put money into to make it go fast? Like one of our biggest things, if you're putting really good stuff on the outside, why not put the money in and put the good stuff on the inside as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like my old man, one of the lads, he was out one day and there was a lad on the naked version of the new Fireblade. I don't think it's called whatever it is. It's a Thau, you know, like it's the Thau naked version of the Fireblade, straight bars. They build it standard like it, single-sided swing arm, I think. And all that. So they come up to a set of lights, and obviously my dad leaves this inline 4,000cc Honda thing sat at the lights. He pulls up to the next lights, and he's like, "Oh no, you jumped the lights," and so he does it again. Like literally leaves him there. And my uncle was on a GS 1200, the RS, the BMW, and so literally my dad went first. The Beamer literally pretty much next to him, and this inline 4 every time was just being left.
Yeah,
and it was just like, mate, just accept the fact that like you're being spanked by a cruiser and by a fucking Aura. You know, it's. Do you know what I mean? It's
like some of the bikes now, like older ones, like the Evos and everything, like the big twin Evos, the Sporties.
Yeah.
They even back to like shovel heads and stuff. Yeah, they're slow. They don't have a lot of power. I mean, you can make a lot of power with them if you do them right.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they were never made to go fast.
No, that's it. Made for touring, weren't they?
Yeah, made for touring, just pottering around on and having a good time. But now, like the new generation, like from everything from the twin cam, like early twin cams with performance derived.
Yeah,
a lot of them all like the chassis that the original twin cams were built off is the FXR, which was the performance, like the performance Harley that was built by Eric Buell back in the day.
Yeah,
he designed the original one back in the early 80s. Is when he first started designing them for Harley. So like the twin cam platform came from like the performance side of like the FXR.
And look how much they're worth now. Fucking hell.
Like an FXR frame.
Yeah,
you can shoe on and one in.
The price of them, they're starting to rocket now, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, what are you talking about? 15 grand now for an average one, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, some of them are. Yeah.
They get up there, especially like we know of a couple that are going for like 5 to 6 grand.
Yeah,
but they do need work. For some of them, it's like it's weird because the older the bike, like the older that they get, the more that the more the value goes up.
Yeah,
it's strange, like because you don't get that with jack bikes. Like the older it gets, the cheaper it gets.
Yeah. To be fair, but I think so like my ZX10, you know, I mean, when they're popping up, I mean, I've seen them where they've literally just put a straight set of bars on, wedged a different back end on because obviously no one's really willing to try and cut the frame properly, and they're asking like 2.5-3 grand. You know, it's like I say, mine's an 1987. It's the Bobcat one, you know, the ugly one. I made it look a bit more presentable, but I think COVID just drove the price up on everything, didn't it? You know.
Yeah. Especially now with like like over here with all Brexit shit and like the price, just even the fucking cost of living over here has just forced everybody to go, oh well, I want to get the most out of this.
Yeah, yeah, it's got silly in it.
Yeah, like especially like even just the bike scene in general, whether it is like custom Harleys or custom Jack bikes or even custom scooters.
Yeah,
like the whole motorcycle scene in general over here. Like people are just, even like selling them, they're just trying to get the most of what they can out of it. And
yeah,
some of it isn't like the greatest work ever, but at the end of the day, somebody has still put a lot of time into it, and they try to recoup it. But then you look at some of the bikes and you think how have you come up with that number?
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? It's, you know, I think who is it? I think I was listening to one of Ollie from Ride Choppers or Die, one of his podcasts, and like when he asked one of the lads how much it was, I think the bike had won at, I think it had won at Mama Tried or one of the big shows over there in America, and he said, well, if I do come to sell it, he's like, really, if I, you know, really, it's $150,000 bike. Yeah. And he's like, I've got endless hours of machining, casting, you know, like, well, obviously a lot of the boys are like it's become popular where people are now recreating the cast clusters for the spindles, aren't they? So they're having to cast them and whatnot. He said, really, to cover my costs, he said, it's like $150,000 bike. And it's like, fucking hell, like, wow, you know.
Yeah, for a lot of them, you're not gonna, like, if you're doing it as a passion build more than like a commission build. Like for a commission build, obviously the price is going to go up. Especially like with us, we charge it like the hourly rate. But if it's something that we're just building, then like you're never going to get your money back on it. And for some of them, it's like that's the Green Sporty. If we ever sold that, I know I'd never make back what I put into it in just sheer amount of time.
Yeah.
Like that one was a full 3-year build, like from start to finish. Every single piece of that was redone. Like the entire engine was apart and upgraded. Like with the frame, we built a full frame for it, the forks, the handlebars, modified the tanks, which sat on the backbone and did all hidden mounts in the bottom of it, and then built everything like the oil tank, the seat pan, the mud guards. But for sheer amount of time in labour that's in that bike, you'd probably be looking like 60-70 grand just for all the labour costs that went into it, as well as like the hours in paint.
Yeah,
like the paint job alone, if we were to like do that as a commission piece, look at like $4,000. Just for paint work. Like for some of it, you just can't justify charging somebody.
No, that's it, innit? It's like the tank on my ZX10. Like my mate did it for me, didn't charge me for it, and we're going back like pre-COVID, so before the prices got proper stupid on material alone. There was this £200 at trade price, £200 in lacquer alone in the tank. That's not with the candies, with the base coats.
It's bloody ridiculous.
£200 just in lacquer. And he said to me, and obviously I don't know if you've seen much, but so we did the laid down a black base coat, laid down a silver base coat, put down clean film, and peeled it straight off, crinkled it all up.
As the carrier bags work better. As the carrier bags work better than the cling film.
Yeah.
We'd never done it before. Obviously, I told him because I remember my dad telling me about it. Obviously, it originates like 70s, doesn't it? You know, it was a 70s thing, and so I managed to get him to understand what I was on about. And what's quite funny, really, is because he didn't charge me for the paint job, we airbrushed his logo into the tank. So I've got it like in like negative in the tank, so it's like ghosted into the tank at the top. And then we did it where it looks like the red candy's been torn off, and so half the logo sits underneath the can. You know, do you know what I mean? So it's like as if it was underneath, and and his company's Pro Dip Hydrographics. So people come up to it when people see it, they go, "Oh, fucking hell, that Hydro Dip job's really cool." And it's like, yeah, it's not Hydro Dipped, and they're like,
it's paint.
So it completely contradicts it.
It's one thing I love about candies. You can make it look like, if you layer it right, especially like the custom painting side. If you're just doing a straight paint job, it's not too bad because it's just flat as long as you get in your overlaps right on it, and not tiger striping it as you're spraying. You're pretty much golden. But if you throw like a custom paint setting, there is so much that you can use candies for. The depth out, like the green one, like all the paint on that, like the green on that is just one shade of candy, just multiple layers to give it all and laid it all out to the 3D geometric cubes and stuff, and all that.
That's it, isn't it? And you generally find that. I mean, I don't know, like for example, we used a concentrate, and it was like literally like £9.80 off eBay. It was the cheapest part of the paint job, and it's the bit that everyone compliments. It's like, that red, because it's called ox blood red. Yeah,
was it from Perfect Pearls and Pigments?
Do you know, possibly? It was what my mate Richard bought. I think he bought it for a job that he needed from before. But obviously the downside, as you boys probably know better than me, is like literally when he'd finished it, he said to me, he's like, mate, he said, you drop it. He said, you damage it. He said, don't even bother coming near me. He says, because I'm not touching it. He said, we won't be able to replicate it.
Andy, it's a nightmare. Like the red, that red road glide, like there is no way I can ever replicate that paint.
No,
because there isn't an actual base color to it. The entire paint is what is it? It's blood red. It's just the blood red candy from Perfect Pearls and Pigments. I predominantly use them for all my additives. So all the candies, the flakes, the pearls, all come from them. But the actual paint on that is two different types of their like mica pigment powder pearls, and a litre of their candy. And that's it. There isn't actually any other normal base coat to it. It's all just mixed into base coat binder and sprayed out.
So you literally, you don't even have so obviously what, you primered it and then went straight onto the primer with the candy, or did you lay down
no, there's it's straight over the epoxy. There is there's no silver or anything. It is just straight.
So you must have gone through loads to actually get the candy to pop then, surely.
Three coats.
Oh wow, okay.
Three coats. It took about 3.5 litres to do the entire bike.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you seen that? You seen that guy that's done and the fucking video's gone like viral. And when you think about how simple it is, have you seen that guy that did the new Toyota Supra, and he's ran down the side with a 2-inch appears to be like a buffing machine, but with a sanding pad.
Yeah. Doing all the like the spiral graphics.
Yeah.
They used to be back in the early 90s.
And that's what I mean. Like, and yet the paint job apparently was like a 30-40 grand paint job, and it's gone absolutely viral on like Instagram and that. And you're like, but all he's done. I mean, I'll say that we'll probably all do that. We'll probably all see something that's done so well, and you're like, but that's all he's done.
I'm gonna admit I'm guilty of that. I've done it a lot of times where I've looked at somebody's paint job, like scrolling through social media, look at somebody, it's like, wow. It's like all you've done is you've like put a couple of tape marks out, and you've you've not really done anything. You've just done a base 2-tone color scheme. It's like why?
And it seemed, and that's like, unfortunately, it seems to be the thing that seems to be happening is like, you've got like, for example, we were talking off air earlier, like about like social media, like TikTok. You've got literally people just absolutely chatting absolute shit, getting pissed up, slagging each other off, and making money doing that. And it's the same with the custom scene. Without obviously, we're not here to like fucking chat shit about any builds or anything, but you've got people pulling mud guards off of bikes and calling them a bobber. And it's like, even at my level, and I'm like that's, I mean, first of all, what obviously, different opinions on a bobber, and obviously people go, oh well, a bobber's this, it's a bike that's been bobbed, and it's like, well, if it's been bobbed, is it technically, and then people are going, oh well, a chopper's this. Well, it's like, technically a bob and a chop is like, really, is there actually any difference? You know, but
A little
pulling
bit.
mudguard, that's what I mean. Obviously, yeah, technically, I mean, to my knowledge, and again, I'm not knowledge, I don't claim to know what I'm really on about, but when I say chopper in my head, I'm going right, raked out front end, skinny, you know, big 21 in the front, maybe a 130 in the back and a 17, you know, or you know what I mean? That
Much,
narrow,
yeah.
like, you know, set of apes. That's, but again, like, then what's a bobber then? You know, it's like,
Generally a bobber is like, it goes back to like the original, like actually it was original Harleys back in the day, like back in the 1920s, when they used to bob the fenders for racing. It's all race derived, so like they used to drop the frame a little bit, so they kind of the entry level chop, if that makes sense.
yeah.
It used to be like they'd chop the frame a little bit to bring the neck down, so you'd have a bit more of an aggressive riding style, lower center of gravity, and then like skim weight by chopping like the mud guards down, because obviously like on a lot of the old ones, they were all the giant bathtub style mud guards were on them. So you should just cut them back so that they have a bit more weight saving on it. And that's generally where the bobbers came from. And I think then just over the years, it got more and more extreme where people would bring them right up to the freight, like chop them so that there's like absolutely fuck all left of it.
Yeah.
It's literally just covering your ass crack, and you end up riding down the road getting piss wet through and a rooster tail sprayed up your bloody back.
Yeah, and then wondering why you've literally got fucking had your jumper pulled in the back wheel and fucking
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
You know, like fucking coming off the back of the fucking thing. But no, like I say, obviously, again, you know, I'm certainly not chatting shit about people that are pulling mud guards off, but it seems to be like. So I did a giveaway right at the beginning of when I first started doing like the whole thing, and it was people would submit the pictures of their bike, and then what everyone would do is you'd click on the bike you liked, and it happened to be the bike that won was fundamentally a bike that really had just had most of its stuff taken off. And it was, and I was just trying to like, I was thinking like some of these bikes, like, so at the time we had Dave Howe from Crawley as a Triumph called All the Fun of the Fair, made the front page of Backstreet Heroes and the center pages, right? It was a candy. I'm not sure who built the bike. Crazy Horse, I think, built the bike. I could be wrong, but it's an incredible build. Like, and yet, like that had like 2 likes compared to the bike that won had like 140, 150 likes, for example. And again, not that it was a bad. I mean, it did have a custom paint job on the tank and had a custom made seat, but like I was struggling to see how most of the people seem to appreciate that more than the likes of this A10 Triumph, Triumph T120, I think it was. That was a one-off custom frame. It had all twisted metal for its shifter and like all like brass accents and Springer front end, all machined. You know, some real time and money put in it, and that had literally 2 or 3 likes. And it's like that bike's, like you say, it's made the front page of Backstreet Heroes. It made the center pages, and yet on the internet, no one cared. It was like
it's the same as like most bike shows now. Like people don't appreciate the work that goes into them. Like they just look at something and go, "Oh look, yeah, I like that. That's kind of cool," but they don't. Yeah. They don't like appreciate the actual work that it takes to do. I think that is one of the biggest downfalls with the UK motorcycle scene. Then again, it might be the same in the States. I don't know. But like over here, like there's so many bikes that you look at and think, you've not really done anything. This guy's put his heart and soul and like everything he's got into building something like extravagant, really cool that is still rideable. And then you get, like you say, you get the people that just either bolt Amazon parts on it and call it a build. Swap a set of handlebars and indicators and bits like that. I go, oh no, I've built a full bike, and then that's getting like you say that's getting like triple the exposure that the one that should be getting it has.
Yeah,
And
yeah, exactly. And I think it, like I say, it seems, and it's obviously the fact we're talking about the bike, like in this within the bike scene, but I think it just seems to be everything at the moment. Like it's as if stuff that isn't really being really put heart and soul into, people seem to care about that more. I personally do believe it's going to come back round, though. I do think that handcrafted, truly appreciated craft work, like to the small few, I think that because the fact that it is simply easy to pull my guards off a bike, and like the fact that Joe Blogs around the corner can somewhat do the same, I think eventually we're going to start to come back round to the truly unique stuff. The only downside is like the truly unique stuff is really expensive. It's like, I mean,
it takes a lot of time to do them. And like I get what you're saying, like with the people that they look at it and go, oh yeah, I know what they've done on that one, because obviously they'll know, like if they're in like with the bike scene, even like some of the general public when you're at shows look at them and go, oh okay, yeah, I know what they've done with that. They've taken that bit off and they've changed it for that. But then you see, like, they could potentially see a bike that's had like a full handcrafted like crankcase, or like it's got like a really extravagant like copper oil lines that look like a distillery's run through the bike.
Yeah,
and they wouldn't know what it's taken to do that. They'd just look at it and go, oh okay, yeah, it's just pipe work. But because they understand the other side of it and what they've just seen on, like you say, swapping the handlebars out and changing the mud guards, they know what it takes to do that. So like, oh yeah, no, I know that, I like that. But then they don't understand the actual, like the attention to detail and like the actual thought process that goes into building stuff like that.
Yeah, that and that's it, and it's like, and I suppose like you can kind of understand why, can't you? Like say, because obviously, like the same, and we've gone and spoke about this for however long, but we seem to have forgot the fact that like you started through the fact that you couldn't afford or didn't want to spend the money getting a bike shop to do your work. So it's kind of like the same thing, really, isn't it? Really,
yeah. That's why, like, we don't, like I said before we actually went on the live, like we don't see people as competition, like other shops as competition, because ultimately we're all in the same game.
Yeah.
We're all trying to chisel out our own little corner of the motorcycle industry to just live pretty and do what we want and have fun working on, whether it's working on them just as general mechanics or doing like everything we do, like the full-blown customs and paintwork. Like everybody started, especially like most of the people like around our age, all started with the same thing. Like we were all too broke to be able to afford the cool shit. So you just learn how to do it.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the issues now as well. Like with the way the scene's going, there's like a handful of people that actually appreciate it, but a lot of them don't understand the tangibleness of these. Like they don't. They're too happy just sat at a computer and like everything's there for them. It's readily available. And like even now with just building bikes, like there is so much information out there for building them. And like one of the guys that really helped me early on was a guy called Gary Weishaupt from California. He runs a forum board called the Chopper Compendium.
Okay.
And he basically started designing and building frames and springers back in like the late 60s, early 70s. And like if you're willing to learn, he'll give you the knowledge for free. He'll walk you through it. If you have any questions, he helps you out. And it was amazing. But like I say, there is so much information out there now for people to learn, but a lot of it they're just not willing to do.
Yeah, no, that's it. And like you say, it's like for me, I mean, my goal, like for what I wanted to create with the stuff I built, is I wanted people to ask what it was, and and that's all I wanted to do. So I wanted to create something that somebody simply didn't know what model of bike it was, and I mean, I haven't had many people that have straight away looked at the ZX10 and gone, that's a ZX10. everyone knows it's a Kawasaki because I still got Kawasaki written on the side casing.
Yeah.
But the average person goes, "Oh, is it a GPZ?" And it's like, well, you're close. No, it's a ZX10 because obviously I think the thing with the ZX10 was, especially with the original, was it was that fucking ugly that no one.
Nobody wanted it.
Do you know what I mean? So I think, and I'll tell you what, like even for an 87 bike, and I'll talk about it on the podcast, like it's a fucking animal. Like it really is an animal. It's unpredictable. It's not smooth. I'm actually looking forward to getting back on my little 125 and plodding along because I know
it's going to be good.
It's not the fact. Don't get me wrong. It's not the fact that I'm fucking scared of it or anything like that. It's the fact that now we're living in a country that everyone's now being encouraged to become a rap. So.
Oh no! Is that us?
It wasn't lost signal.
It doesn't want to just sit there at 70 mile an hour. It wants to be off. So it's like you know what I mean. So you might as well just jump on a 125, plod about, still do 60 mile an hour on the B roads, and enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. It's like with a lot about it now. Like you see all the new bikes that are coming out that all like the H2. They've got a top speed of like 200 plus mile an hour.
Yeah.
From last time I checked, it was around 200. I think
it's close to it.
But where the hell are you going to ever ride one of them that fast? Like I'm all for like building stupid engines and like putting as much performance into a bike as you can, but there's a limit to it.
Yeah.
Especially like I said, with like all the smart motorways and everything over here, and you just can't get away with what you used to be able to.
No. And like I say, everyone's being dash cam. It's
and then all it takes is you going screaming past somebody on, like, say, the M6, and they've got the dash cam footage instantly straight on YouTube. Oh, look what this dickhead did.
Yeah,
and then
like I say, obviously, I mean, I think it's absolutely disgusting that that you're actually allowed to submit that footage to the police, and they're allowed to use it as evidence. I mean, on what grounds is that even calibrated? Like, even remarkably, you know what I mean? And yet they're allowed to use it.
Yeah, because for that, all they could know, like, the traffic could be stood still. They could have been moving at like 10 mile an hour, and you're going past at 40.
Yeah,
just
looks stupidly fast on them.
There's no one of them actually being able to tell them unless they've got some ridiculous computer system that they can put it into. Like, okay, I'm going to triangulate what this is and the distance that it took them to travel in and do this, that, and the other, which they probably do have, but it's not how can they justify it. It's like, yeah, I went past them, but you don't know how fast I went past them.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't see the on the bike that went past, but
and that's it. Like, I mean, I remember walking around. Have you boys been up to Squires in Sherburn?
Yeah.
So I remember walking around Squires the other year, and I fucking seen this brand new Hayabusa. And what was weird about it was just plain grey. So it wasn't in its factory decals or anything like that. Suzuki and Hayabusa. It was plain grey, and I thought, and it caught my eye because it was like just a flat plain colour. I thought, that's fucking, like, obviously, so you looking at it, like, first of all, I'm thinking, fucking hell, this thing looks ugly as fuck, But then I saw these little things. I was like, what the fuck's that? And I've looked at it, and the mirrors have got cameras, and it turned out that it was a fucking undercover police bike.
All right, wow.
Like, and it is actually common knowledge around this region that there is an unmarked dark grey Hayabusa flying around, and I saw the fucking thing. I was like, you dirty bastard.
We've got one round near us. It's a BMW 1000RR.
Yeah,
it's just a white one with it. There's a tiniest little sticker under the screen, right above the 1000RR that just says police. And everything, like, the only way you can tell, because it's all white with a blue stripe down it, but it looks kind of factory because obviously the blue and red stripes anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And the only way you know is if you round at the front of it, there's two little light bars in the grille. It's like, ooh.
No. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. I know where them lot can all disappear to. Yeah.
We've had a couple of them around here that are pretty chill.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know how many years ago it was now. I think it's like 14. The XJ, Furry. I got
about 10, 12 years, isn't it? Yeah,
no,
it's 14, yeah, 14 years.
About 15 years ago actually, before my son was born. I had one of my XJ600s. I've had a few of them. Like one of them I wrapped in leopard print fur. It just seemed more fun than painting it. So I wrapped leopard print fur and ended up that was one of the first bikes I actually fully street fighted. But when I still had it as a relatively stock bike, wrapped it in fur, and I went like up round where we live. We got a big back road through Oldham, and I used to live around there, so I went screaming up it because I was up and down it every day anyway, and got pulled over at the top of the road and by a copper on a bike, and the only reason he pulled me over was to see what the bike was. So we've got a couple of them around here that are pretty chilled, but then there is the ones that aren't. There's a couple. Some of them will sit there at a set of lights and just kind of goad you into a race at the lights. And it's like, I'm not playing that.
No, yeah, I know what you're doing, mate. Yeah,
pull me over, so I'm gonna have to let you win.
Yeah.
No, that's it, isn't it? And I suppose obviously the plus side of riding choppers, bobbers, baggers. Typically speaking, you're not going to be. They're not going to be expecting you to be off like a lunatic. Not really.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
look at it and think, oh yeah, okay, no, he's not gonna beat it. But a shot and you just absolutely hammer it.
Yeah.
I don't really know what's going on with the old internet tonight. It seems to be fucking messing about.
Oh, it might be mine as well, because it might be my 4G just playing up.
But no, it's but yeah, no, that's it, and it's like I said, it's the bike scene is. It's a great and wonderful, strange thing at the same time. I suppose it's you know, I think. Oh, my knee. Sorry, my knee's gone off. My knee's gone dead. But so have you guys got any? Are you guys off to any shows this year?
We've got a few, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got a couple that we're doing. We were supposed to be at the Kickback, but things have ended up taking a turn, and we've potentially not going to be able to make it to that one. But we're down at one in Dane End down south for the boot bikers. With we're going down with a Soul on there. That's pretty much it for the shows now that we've got planned. But we are going to try and get out to as many shows and events as we can. We're up and down the country at least once a month. Just travel around. But the biggest one that we're doing at the moment that we've got planned is the one in May, going to Dane End down south. Okay. For the boot bikers, because that's being put on by one of our friends, Steph, and Simon Parry from Mid Customs.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'd love to get Simon on the podcast. To be fair, like I think his style, like the way his bikes is, like I think when you can get to a level of building bikes where you can tell straight away whose it is, like everyone, you can see one of Simon's bikes straight away, and it's not even questionable. You know, did Joe Blogs build that? Did you boys build that? Like, it's clearly one of Simon's builds. You know. Oh
yeah. He's amazing. Yeah. I love Simon. He's funny as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he always gives shit because because obviously the accent difference because we're from Manchester, and so we get a lot of grief off him every time we see him. Oh, he's awesome. Like, he's a wealth of knowledge as well. Obviously he's got the racing background.
Yeah.
And so there is so much information in that little head of his.
Yeah.
He's like, right.
Yeah.
No, that's it, innit? I mean, obviously, and he managed to get he managed to get on Prime TV as well, which was on Amazon Prime, which was obviously, which was cool. But I mean, I haven't really seen him doing anything for a while. I mean, I know he's probably still tinkering. I know he said he was going to slow it on YouTube. I think he said he was slowing down.
Yeah, a lot of the YouTube stuff now is done by Dee. She does a lot of it on her channel.
Tomboy and a bit, yeah,
she does stuff for Simon, because obviously she's down there a lot building some of the bikes. Like she's built Jonesy with him, with Simon. They're currently building a Sporty.
Yeah, they're building that one. Husband bought her, I think, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think.
I think it was her husband and her son bought for her.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, I'm hopefully there's a chance that I might be down at Kickback, because obviously my second to last podcast I interviewed Lorne.
Had Lorne on it. I watched it.
Yeah. So obviously, I kind of speaking to him. Like for me, like I'm starting to get invited to things, which is great. But it's like it's financially, it's like traveling to them, which is why I put that. Which is why I put that video out the other day. I'm not one to start asking. I kind of felt I didn't want to feel like I was like asking for a handout. But then I thought, well, at the end of the day, if I'm going to be going to shows, which I plan to go to as many as I can, it kind of just made sense for me to be able to get some sponsorship and showcase people's products. So, so we kind of got a couple of bits in the pipeline. I mean, I've got an event already happening in York, but I'm not allowed to. I've already been told until they officially launch their details, I'm not allowed to publicly announce it. So, but it's cool. It's cool. So I say just trying to pick where I can and can't get to. But I would like to go to Kickback. I think
it's a difficult one, like you say, it's the financial side of it.
Yeah,
that's one of our issues at the moment. It's just being able to get to him for the most part. It's like because we're here pretty much 7 days a week. So it's like trying to juggle, can we take the time off here and go do this? And then sometimes it's like, okay, yeah, I can do that. And then something crops up that kicks you in the arse. And it's like, oh shit, right now I can't do that because I've got all this to sort out.
Yeah, and then things and everything.
It was a difficult one. There's so many shows that we'd love to do, up and down the country. I wouldn't mind doing a trip out in Southwest Chopper Fest. There'd be excellent ones to do, but it's like trying, like you say, it's the financial side of actually getting there, because you've got not only have you got to do all your fuel, but then with this place we've got to sort out okay, what can we shift around so that we've got the time there and we're not losing money, we've not being open and
exactly.
With some of our stuff, going down trying to promote some of our products, all our billet parts and the seats and everything that we do. It takes a lot to do that. Most of our stuff is all the billet bits that are all the machine for us. But RCN, the guy that does all our CNC work, is about a 10-foot walk away from the shop. He's on
and that's the thing, though, isn't it? And unfortunately, that type of stuff is generally gonna generally get sold quicker, or at least an order put in when they physically see it, and they're holding. And so it's one of them
it's out. Where do you justify dropping a couple of grand on a product that might not sell? Yeah, so it's bad, but that, like you say, it's one of them. It's nobody. If you can see a picture on the internet and it'd look nice, but until you actually see the physical part, you haven't got a clue whether it's either a chunk of plastic. Online, you can be anything you want to be. All it takes is putting the right wording in, and people are like, "Oh yeah, okay, it's this." And as a lot of us have all been scammed online and on eBay and shit with, it's supposed to be this, and it's just cheap knockoffs.
And that's it, innit? And and generally speaking, obviously, when you go to a show and you see that billet piece machine, you're gonna be like, oh fucking hell, that looks sick, and then you're like, then so you do need them shows, which for me, obviously, with me only doing I'm doing podcasts. I mean, the only bike stuff I'm doing is my own stuff. Like, you know, I like saying, I make it very clear that, like, if you're jumping on one of my videos to learn how to do it, I'm not the guy. Like, I can teach you how to put holes in metal, not, you know, but I think the people, I think especially today, like, because like you said, there are so many people, unfortunately, there are so many people that are trying to scam you or trying to outprice you on something. I think that for me, because when I listen back to my podcast, I think, how the fuck is it people want to sit there and listen to me waffle on? But I'm getting the same thing back. Like, people appreciate that I'm not pretending to be something I'm not. You know, you know, obviously I'm not here interviewing you trying to think, right, how am I going to machine some parts? I'm not. You know, I'm just the guy. I'm just the guy that I felt that there was a gap in the podcast scene or social media scene in general, that I would sit here. So I don't go around looking for people. Oh, how many followers has Joe Blogg's got? Oh, you know, I don't care if you've only got 10 followers, but you've got, as long as you've got, if there's 3 or 4 pictures of a bike on the page, I'm at the end of the day, someone's just put 3 or 4 pictures of a bike up. It has to be, whether it be 30 pictures and from the dating over the course of a good year plus, because at the end of you know what I mean? Like, so you can clearly see that someone is just simply passionate about what they're doing. I would love to have them on, you know?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's so, like, obviously we got speaking because I interviewed the boys from 3-2 Choppers, and then, you know, and so I just want to talk to everybody, you know.
It's all about networking, isn't it? Really, like, that's the best bit. It's like, it's the one good thing about the motorcycle industry is like, we've met so many, like, we've got like so many great customers that have become really good friends.
Yeah.
Like, more than customers. Like, they've come in for, like, even if it's just a service, but now they come down just for a brew and a hang out and a chat with us, and like, it's what it's supposed to be.
Yes.
And like we said before, like, we don't see people as competition. We just see them as, like, friends we've not met yet or collaborated with.
Yeah.
And, like, it's how it should be. Everybody, we all have the love of motorcycles. That's what we're all here for, and what we're all passionate about and want to talk about. And
exactly.
Like, it's just a common ground, isn't it? It's how it should be. Everybody chatting, you meet new friends, and, like, you meet the best people on motorbikes.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I mean, like, for me, I remember doing, I put an exhaust on someone I used to work with, 125. So just literally, it was a bolt on, you know, there was no welding anything. I mean, I have built a full exhaust system from scratch, high cut and everything, and, you know, welded everything up. But like, I did swap this exhaust over for one of the lads I used to work with, and he tries handing me some money, and he's like, it's like, what are you doing? He's like, no, you know, he's trying to give me like 30 quid or something. I was like, no, I don't want your money. And he literally, I said to him, he's there like trying to hand me this cash. I'm like, look, you don't understand. I said, and I had the ZX10 in the shed. I said, do you see that bike there? And he goes, yeah. I was like, I was gifted all of that. Like, how can I, even if I wanted to, how could I take money from you? Not that I want to. I said, and it was literally his first bike. He'd never been on a bike. I said, you don't understand the scene yet. I said, this isn't how it works, you know. And he couldn't get his head around it. It's like, well, let me buy you let me buy you something to eat. And I'm like, no, I don't want anything. I said, the fact that you've come over, that I haven't had to go and get things for you, and you've just bought everything over. I said, that's enough. I said, you know, be different if I was having to drive across the country. You maybe chuck me a tenner for some fuel or something. But like, I was like, I said, it's not how the scene works, you know. And you could see he couldn't grasp it. He was like, right. And because he was like, you know, is he going to have this over me type? You could almost, I was like, mate, said, everything in my shed is gifted to me by my friends. Like, you know what I mean? I've just been so lucky. I was like, so you do unto others what others do unto you, you know?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
On that as well, like, with it, that is, like, that's one of the best parts of the motorcycle scene itself, is just the camaraderie with it, and everybody, like we do it a lot. Like, if we know somebody needs a part, and if we've got someone that's just sat there, it's like, oh, well, I'm not going to use that anymore. It's like, hey, just have it. like it's how I ended up actually getting it. Like talking with Simon, he's on one of the sporties that he's built. He's got my old manifold on it. Because I just had one sat on my shelf, and he posted up on the Sports of Sickness group a couple of years ago asking, has anybody got one? I was like, yeah, there you go, it's in the post for you. And he was like, oh, what is wrong for it? It's like, nothing, it's there, it's on its way. It's like, I'm never going to use it again.
Yeah, so may as well give it to someone that's going to use it.
Yeah,
exactly. You know, I mean, like, I would love nothing more than I'd love to be in a position that I could literally just hand my shirts out to people, like, you know, I can't afford to, but like, when I see someone wearing a shirt, and like, obviously the story for my shirts was simply that I do video podcasts. I needed a t-shirt with my logo on, you know, and then somebody asked, like, oh, you know, are you doing t-shirts? And it didn't take much convincing, because it was like, okay, you know, at the end of the day, I want to build a bigger shed, and if I can raise a bit of money to pay to extend my shed, then why not? I mean, and you know, has it yet to happen? No, of course not. You know, you end up putting the money back into buying a different hoodie, and then releasing a new design, and then for like, but at the end of the day, it's like, now someone wants that new design. It's like, so yeah, the shed just takes a back foot, you know. But I realized that at first I wasn't gonna do live streaming in the shed, because obviously everyone sees that the roof's fucked, and you know, it is what it is. And at first I did at first think, oh, you know, I want it to look presentable. I want it to look like as good as I can make it. And then I realized, I'm like, I spent so long finding excuses to not put myself in front of a camera that I don't think it fucking matters. Like, I think that if you're just who you are, and just be openly honest, and just keep real to it, and keep consistent, I think people do appreciate it. You know, I think it's fucking like for me to see someone wearing my shirt, or and I do all my stuff myself. So I sit there weaving all the stuff out.
All our shirts came about like, and everything all the t-shirts we've got up sale on our site. It purely came out of like, we needed work shirts, and I love graphics design, and I've got a vinyl cutter. So I was like, well, I'll just get some VHC vinyl, and we'll just iron them onto a t-shirt and see how it goes. And then everybody, like, that was the first one that I did.
That's sick. That's sick.
Everybody went mental for it, and it was like, oh, maybe we should start offering these. But I get what you mean. It is a lot of work to do.
It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. I mean, but like you say, it's like it at the time you're like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, why did I fucking offer these out? But then when you click online, and all of a sudden, bosh, there's somebody just wearing your shirt, and you're like, it's worth it. It's completely and utterly worth it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I did a merch swap with Lucas Silverback, and like the other day he put a picture up of him wearing my shirt again. Like, I knew he was going to put a picture up of him wearing it when he initially got it, and I did the same. But then, like, I was having a bit of a shit day, and you know, I clicked on, because obviously for me, I only admit, like, I struggle with being in front of a camera. Like, so I did that. If you guys have seen the video where I go action, and then I'm like going, oh fuck, like, and people are going, oh, what are you on? Like, what you take? Like, you know, you're smoking something. But it's like, that's me trying to show the funny side to me. But like, when I'm going like this, going like, oh, and I'm trying to remember that people think it's funny, but that's me like getting fucked off in my own head, because I'm like, I'm really struggling with it. But like, my whole point is to keep things as real as I can, like, to show that, look, yeah, there's a funny side, but like, the whole point that little clip of a minute, if that, is put together from 9 attempts of doing a thank you video. Like I'm overcoming so much. Like, you go on my tattoo page, Tattoos by J.H, there is not one picture of me. There's not one fucking. I didn't want to be on a camera. I didn't like the idea of it, and I just realized that. I learned that, like, at the end of the day, I love this custom culture scene. Like, I don't have the money to pay somebody to build me a really cool bike, or to build a really cool bike from nothing. And I just thought that, do you know what? I just want to build my bikes on. I mean, fundamentally, I've set up 666 Customs to build a platform to get people to see that I was building my own shit on YouTube, and then obviously then the podcast came about. But I just realized that, like, do you know what? I don't give a fuck really what people think about my world. Like, you know, and I just wanted to showcase that I'm just going to do what I want to do, and with no fucks given and no points to prove. And it's so humbling that people like want to wear a shirt, or people want to listen to the podcast, and I'm still sitting there going, how the fuck, like even in my head now, I'm like, fucking I've been sat here for, we were talking like 15 minutes before, so we've been talking for about an hour and a half, and I'm thinking, how the fuck are these boys even still want to listen to me? You know,
I'm fine.
Yeah,
it's good because I get to not talk for a bit. I'm bad for it. I could sit here for hours just talking bikes.
Yeah,
like, it is. But that's all my life's been. Like, I've dedicated everything to it. Like, even like as much as I'm married with 2 kids, like the wife gets the brunt of it because I'm here. And even when I'm at home, like, I talk to her about bikes, and she just nods at me like yeah, okay, I can hear words. I don't know what you're on about, but I can hear words.
Yeah,
but,
that's it, isn't it?
With like the way you're building bikes is just to build them.
Yeah.
That's what this industry needs. That's what the entire like custom scene should be. It shouldn't be like following the trend of what's fashionable and like what people or what can get them the most likes on social media. It should just be people building their bikes their way, purely for the love of doing it, and just to try and experience like something new with the bike.
Do you know, 100%, mate. I mean, like, so for me, like, I made it really clear at the beginning, like when I first started doing this, like, fundamentally, I want to turn this into my source of income, not building bikes. Like, I wanted to turn it into a source of income in the respect of, if I can get YouTube, if I can make money on YouTube building my shit that pays me, that I eventually in the long term I can support my family doing it.
Yeah.
That's my goal. My goal is to create an income doing this shit that you're seeing. And it's like I could, so I'm learning, like, for example, if I put a title of how to cut up a frame, then straight away it would be wrong. So by simply changing them words and going, watch me attempt it, I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, and that's what I'm. That's
to draw more people in as well. It's like, because they can relate to it. They'll see it and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I like that, because he's got the balls to actually try something new. It's like, he might not know what he's doing, but he's giving it a go.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. You know,
as detrimental might be to us. Like, we own a custom shop, and our bread and butter is building bikes, but I commend anybody to give it a try.
Oh yeah, definitely.
At the end of the day, we do this for a living.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother us if somebody like just asks us questions like, oh, how do I do this? Or like, oh, I'm thinking about doing this. Is there any tips that you'd give us? Yeah. And I'm happy to share my knowledge to a degree with some of the bits. Like, some of it is people just wouldn't want to sit and listen. It's not more than anything. I could, as Dean knows, like paintwork, I could go into all the ins and outs of the chemistry and everything behind it all for bloody weeks. I said it's like fabrication, but if somebody's willing to like sit and listen and actually wants to learn, I'll happily tell somebody how to make bits.
But yeah, mate, 100%. And do you know, like what I'm starting to learn with it is like, by you being a humble person and like by being honest about that. Like, for example, the dude, like so the person like me that's going to cut up my own shit, that doesn't claim to be a fabricator, I'm going to turn up at a cafe, and Joe Bloggs that's just pulled up in his Bentley is going to see that bike and go, oh, that's pretty cool. And, and then all of a sudden he's going to go, well, I don't have time to build that. I'm going to get the guys that actually know what they're really doing, so if you look at it the correct way it should be, it comes round. And so it's going to come round to you guys that are the guys that are going to, at the end of the day, me building a bike in my shed, it might look, it will look cool and it'll be safe, but you guys turn up and build a bike of the similar style, it's going to more than likely be a lot better, because you guys are going to, do you know what I mean? Obviously, and again, like in quality, you know what I mean? In overall.
Like I said, that sportster of mine that I built, I built that in my basement.
Yeah.
The basement at my house it's 5 meter wide by 9 meters long, and in that I had pretty much half of what's in this workshop now. I had all my toolboxes, my frame jigs, tubing benders, like 2 welders, lathe, all my big pillar drills. All my spray equipment and everything, all just crammed into effectively like a box bedroom size room.
Yeah.
And like I said, I built so many bikes over the years out of that, and like you'd be surprised at what you can actually do if you put your mind to it.
Yeah.
With a lot of our stuff, like I say, we started out purely out of necessity for not being able to afford it and wanting cool shit. And like the saying goes, it's like, if you want cool shit, you've got to go out and work for it, whether that be you work your normal job to pay for it, or you work in ways of like you get the knowledge to do it, or you just have at it. Like full send it and see where it goes.
I mean, that's it. Like we got like
sum it up, but it's like a learning.
Bob over in Canada, he's saying like bubblegum comes in many flavors, you know what I mean? It's, I mean, even with Bob built, like I interviewed Bob, and Bob's over in Canada, and he made the front page of Backstreet Heroes in the UK. It's like fucking hell, like he built a BSA, an old BSA hardtail. It's cool as hell, but like he's he's the same type of guy. He's like just humble, and like I just built it. That's like no points to prove. You know what I mean? And it seems to be like, I don't know if you guys will agree, but when you are the humble guy, just keeping it real and being honest, it takes longer to get round, but you seem to create like a journey, like a longevity, like you're gonna last. Do you know what I mean? Like
it's what it is. I mean, like bike building and just working on them, and custom paint work, leather work. It is the most humbling experience that you could ever get with them, because I had it a couple of weeks ago. I got a god complex with my paint work. At one point, it was like, I can paint anything, I can do anything. And then the simplest black paint job absolutely kicked my ass. Yeah. I spent near enough 2 months fixing it because nothing went right. And
wow,
it's one of them. Like I'm guilty of it a lot. I do get times where it's like, no, I can do that. I'm awesome. I can fucking do that. Like some of it is just to try and psych myself up for going, oh shit, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll give it a try. And then you get bits where you look at it and think, no, that should work. Why is it not working? Yeah. What the hell have I done? And you just have to sit there and go like, okay, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. Okay, what can I learn from this, and where can I take it? Like, if you don't take them as learning experiences and you just think, oh, sod it, whatever, no, I'm still the best at everything. Like you won't make it in the industry. Like there's been so many shops that have come and gone over the years that have claimed to be the dog's bollocks, and we can do everything, and we're this, that, and the other, and we've got all this, and like they've got too big for the boots, and then realise that they can't do half of the stuff that they're claiming to do. And when shit does go wrong, they just fob it off and say, oh no, that it is what it is, that's how it's done. And it's like you just take it on the chin. With some of them, it's like, shit, that went wrong. Okay, where did I fuck up? What can I do to fix it? And how do I avoid doing that again? Because that's just wasted me a shit ton of time and a shit ton of money. I don't want to do that again. But then it kind of ingrains in you. It brings you back down to earth a little bit.
Yeah.
And like with a lot of it, like I say, I'm happy to, like both of us are as well. I'm happy to share our knowledge with. If we can help somebody out that wants to get into the industry, because like at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's like and whether that be in the actual building, the fabrication, or the mechanics side of it, or just into motorcycles in general. Like, if you can inspire somebody to continue to work on their own bike, or teach them how to work on their own bike, so that they're not being reliant on other people. Like, say you want to go on a ride with all your mates and spark plug shit's out. If you don't know how to, if like spark plug's an easy one to fix, but there is people out there that haven't got a clue what they're doing with them. Like, oh, well, what do I replace it with? How do I get it out? What does it connect to? So if
true.
people like understand their bikes, or like even just doing a simple, to us it might be simple, to other people it might not, but bleeding your brakes.
Yeah.
If people don't understand how to bleed the brakes, or that there is a lot of things that go wrong with your brakes, like the water content.
And like when you get like fucking Kawasaki put your caliper on the bottom and you still can't bleed the fucking thing and have to drop the torsion bar off, spin it upside down, and all of a sudden in 2 minutes, and you're like, fuck.
You tilt it a little bit. It's like, oh look, as long as but that's like a lot of people don't know that. Like, if you bleed nipples at a certain angle, if you just tilt it up that ever so slightly, it could be like you just move it 10 degrees. Like 10 degrees, at least a big ass air bubble. But like, especially like new riders, or people that haven't ridden in years, that are just getting back on a bike and going, oh, well, I really want to do this, but I haven't got a clue. But I know I need new brake pads, but I can't afford to have them done. It's like, well, here's how you do it. Buy whatever parts you can that are in your budget. Like, buy the best quality parts you can for what money you have. Like, you don't have to spend like 30, 40 quid on a set of sintered like ECB pads if you don't need them. The normal brake pads are still going to work just as good. If you can afford them, buy the best that you can afford.
Oh, and then
keep people on the road, because that's what it's all about. It's like, in a way, it is kind of selfish, because it'll circle, like you say, it'll circle back round. Because I'm like, oh, you know what you're doing, so I haven't got the time. Can you just do this for me then? It's like, okay, we can do that, but here's the tools for you to be able to do it. Here's the knowledge that you're going to need. Now, if you want to do that, or like, say the chain needs adjusting, it's like, here's how you adjust your chain, set your tension, and like, because there's still people out there that don't even know how to do that.
Yeah.
But if you can,
and obviously, and I'm guessing the service work, like the Harley service work, is generally your bread and butter work. Is that kind of what keeps the lights on, type of thing?
Service work is. I mean, it doesn't pay a lot.
No.
But for what it is, but it's one of them. It's a necessity service.
Yeah.
Like, so we try and keep our prices on it like as low as possible. Like, where we can still keep everything running, but we're not charging over the odds for everything on it, because at the end of the day, like in the economy now, people can't afford everything. So like people can't afford like full-blown custom builds, or like even just some parts. So if they need the bike service, we can try and keep everything as budget friendly as we can. But like I say, the service work is pretty much part and parcel with it now. And we originally didn't set out to do service work. It was mainly just custom builds, and paint and leather, and just have fun with it. But you get to a point where it's like, okay, this is really awesome, but I can't afford to do it. I haven't got the money now to pay for all the cool shit that we want to do. Or like, you get a customer's bike coming in and they want, like I say, a cam tensioner swap, or like they want a head gasket replacing, and if you haven't got the bits there to do it, you're pretty done for. So like, the service work is, like I say, it is the bread and butter stuff that keeps the lights on and keeps us flowing to be able to stock all that stuff up, so that eventually then we can do the fun builds. And like we do have a couple, like our own shop builds that we're doing. Like, I don't know if you see it, the big blue Evo that we've got on, I've got up on Instagram.
I saw it.
Really long raked out shop.
Yeah.
Now, that's one of our shop projects. That's going to be, it will be up for sale once it's done.
Yeah.
But again, stuff like that, you've got to do the general day-to-day stuff of servicing and just like check pre-MOT checks.
Yeah.
Like just as general like looking over, making sure everything's fine for an MOT, so that we can take it and get it through fine. And that stuff is what helps pay for everything else.
Yeah, and then obviously, like you say, changing bits over, so it will pass an MOT, and then you have to bring it back and put all the cool shit back on again.
Yeah, that's where it is, because once they're in the shop, then that's when you sell them all the extra goodies.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like, your bike's blue. You could really do with a set of blue spark plug leads.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I remember taking one of my bikes for an MOT, and he was like, "Look, I can't pass that," and I'm like, "But you do know that as soon as I come back home after that other part's been put on, I'm telling you, it's going back to how you see it now." And they're like, "Yeah, but I can't." And I'm like, "Look, come on, like surely, like it works. Just fucking just pass it."
Yeah.
And I asked the other week. I went up to where I got my bike MOT, and I said to him, "So where do I stand with running no front brake on me? Because obviously I'm building this 125, and I've kind of dived down that rabbit hole of now liking minimalistic front ends. I don't want a front brake because, as you do, it makes sense. No way at all, but it looks fucking cool." And I said to him,
I'm a stickler.
Yeah.
Well, you like the front brake?
Yeah.
Yeah, like is the only thing you don't cheap out on is suspension, tires, and brakes.
You see, like I've now become one of them people where now I've decided that it's cool to have nothing on the front end. So, and I said to him, I was like, "Look, I want to run no front brake." I said I want to shave all the lugs off the forks, and I want the forks dead flat and up. At the end, I'm quite lucky that my 125's got some pretty cool looking 5-spoke wheels, and I think they look cool with no front brake. And he's like, I can't pass it, Josh. I can't pass it. I said, so if I come up with the brake master cylinder and a caliper in a bag hanging off the handlebar, I said, where do I stand then? And he's like, Josh, fuck off.
The rule is if it's there, it has to work.
Yeah. But I'm like technically it's still on the bike.
America have it so much nicer for what they can get away with to what we can. Like in respect like the building side of it, like just taking a bike for an MOT or even for like an SBA, like for a full custom build, there is so many hoops to jump through. Which like a lot of bikes that you see like up on eBay that are half done projects, or they've got so far with it, and you can see where the vision was, but the legalities of it for getting it tested and roadworthy are just not there. You can't do it. And
no, that's it, isn't it?
It's bad. It's where I envy everybody in the States for some of the stuff. Like they can get away with a lot more than we can.
Well, I tell you what, like you see, like in the UK. So I spent a lot of my childhood. I grew up from the age of like 9. I grew up in Spain, and the Spanish have it even harder. Like over there, you're not allowed to chop a frame. Like you're not allowed to chop the frame. You're not allowed to put a bigger engine in it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, for example, if you've managed to get hold of a factory-built bike that's a hardtail, you're very lucky, or what if that's what you want, obviously. But you can't, you physically, you can change the paint color, and I think you have to obviously re-register that. But like it's even then, like we are lucky in the UK compared to other countries. It's
we still have the freedom to modify. And to change bits within what their guidelines are. And like you say, Spain's dead against it, but like Germany are as well.
Germany apparently is even worse, isn't it?
Oh, it's bad. Like everything has to be TUV approved. They've got to go through the TUV approval. Like even like all the aftermarket, like Thunderbike and the big Harley, like the big custom Harley dealership over there. Like all their stuff has to be sent out for TUV approval, and it's ridiculous because like we were looking into it, or I was a couple of years ago for like building springers and like actually getting all my parts that I was building back then, like starting doing production runs of them, like doing the frames so that it could offer frame kits like that are registerable, so you're not having to like there's a lot of people out there now selling frames or building custom frames for people and being like, okay, here's the frame, and then they put a disclaimer with it that they can't guarantee the quality that is better or equal to OEM quality, and anything from that once it leaves them isn't their responsibility. And to me, that's complete bullshit. Because you built that frame, somebody's trusting their life into something that you built, and for them to just be like, oh no, I don't know whether it's going to work, but here, just stick an engine in it and haul your ass 100 miles down the road and hope to God it don't fall apart.
Yeah.
But like, that spurred me into looking into actually getting everything sent out for type approval. And
that is literally you describing how I built the subframe on my ZX10. I got my mate who's like fucking 22 stone, mate, and I just said I got my mate. He's like 22 stone, 6 foot odd. I said jump. I said sit on that, and he goes. He sits on it. I was like, right, now jump on it. And he looks at me. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, jump on the fucking thing. I says, if it don't move, it's good to fucking go.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, there's people out there that don't think of it like that. I think, okay, yeah, no, I can just build that. It's really cool. But they haven't got a clue whether it's actually going to hold up. So, like I say, we looked into getting everything type approved and going through like the UK type, component type approval, and then European like tub approval. And holy shit, like the amount of hoops you've got to jump through, and like the money you've got to pour into it. Like, just to get like one of the frames tested, it worked out like 10 grand just to get one frame done. But I'd have to send them 2, so that they completely destroy one of them and send it back as a ball. Like they test it to its breaking point. Which is good. It's like, awesome. I've just spent like a couple £100 building this, amazing, and now you just destroyed it all. But it is what it is. It gives you the certificate to say, this is safe for a UK road. But like some of it, it's the money side of it. It's ridiculous. And then like, it's why a lot of places like Germany and Spain, people won't do that now and won't do all the aftermarket stuff because they can't get it approved. Yeah. And if they can, you've got to have deep pockets to be able to do a lot of it. And luckily, like I say, we've got the SVA process, so you can build a bike. As long as you can provide a receipt for every nut, bolt, and fastener on that bike to prove that it's new, you can get it through without being Q-plated. So a lot of the misconception is like you send it for an SVA, it's going to get Q-plated, and then your bike's worthless.
So obviously, for somebody like me that doesn't really, I mean, I've got the rough idea of what you're talking about, but for people like me that don't understand completely what you're saying, like, you elaborate a bit on like an SVA Q-plated set, like what you're actually meaning by that.
Well, the SVA is effectively like it's an MOT on steroids. They go over every single inch of the whether it be a bike or a car or truck or just the vehicle in general.
And is that for anything custom?
Custom, rebuilt, modified. Like, technically, if you hardtail a frame, it should go for an SVA. Like, under the LA ruling, if you modify that frame from OEM standards, it should go for an SVA.
My ZX10's got its SVA'd.
You send it for the testing.
The 22 stone jump on the back SVA test.
Yeah. It's supportive vehicle approval. That's what it is. Suspected. If you take them for the testing, like, it's basically just making sure that it is safe for like the UK roads, not that the UK roads are safe for half of them.
I was going to say, mate, if you can build a fucking frame that doesn't crack on the UK roads, that fucking frame is going to last forever.
Oh yeah, that Sportster. I have hit every pothole I possibly could on that just to see what it did, and it took everything. It kicked the crap out of my kidneys. Yeah. But it took it all. It has no movement in that. It's fucking bulletproof. But with that, like, that was built to full SVA guidelines. So they have like strict guidelines for everything, like the height of your rear lights, the distance of your indicators can be apart, and like how far.
That's ridiculous.
It's mental. And like, if you wanted to put a side-mounted plate on it, you got to have two, because you have to have one on either side of the bike for the testing, because legally the plate has to be visible from every angle of the rearmost position of the bike. It's daft, like some of the ruling, but it's why a lot of people won't go through it, because it does take a lot to get it to do it right and to appease them. But a lot of it is down to like misunderstanding it as well. Like even a lot of people don't like you say, a lot of people don't understand what an SVA is, and effectively it's just purely making sure that the vehicle is safe to be on the road. So we'll check, like for a custom frame, and they'll check all the weld joints to make sure that they're actually up to par, visually.
Which that makes sense. That that does make sense, because we've all seen fucking pictures of. I mean, I know Led's. Obviously, I was lucky enough to interview Patterson from Let's Talk Customs. I mean, if you guys follow Pat as well, he's recently put pictures up of some weld. Have you seen the pictures he put up of his friends, that orange or peach coloured bike that he ground off the filler, and all they've done is tack weld? I mean, so in that respect, it makes sense for the world, definitely for worlds.
But it's like with our stuff, like I won't take a bike to them painted or finished. Like it goes all raw form, as much
so
as
they can see the worlds.
Yeah, so they can inspect everything, and they can make sure, because like you say, you can hide a lot with body filler. And we had a bike in middle of last year where like the frame had rusted through. So instead of actually patching it right, they filled it full of silicone and then put a bead in it to make it look like and like that was when we went looking at the frame, or the full bike. We had a look at it, we're like, okay, that's fine, because it was like rock hard rubber. It wasn't even rubber, it was more, it was like Araldite or quick steel or something. But they'd made it look like a weld. They'd like sculpted it and put little ripples in it to make it look like a MIG weld. And we looked at it, okay, poke everything with a screwdriver and hit it around. It's like, okay, that's all fine. And then we sent the frame out for sandblasting, and holy shit, the amount of holes that appeared when all the bits came out of it. They just packed it full of crap and like this like vulcanized rubber shit. And
that's fucking crazy.
And baffling.
Yeah, and like I say, with doing the SVA, I mean the SVA is like single vehicle approval. So it means if you build a bike, like for us even as a shop, because we don't build more than I think their limit's like 500 bikes a year. So we can still just take them. We don't need type approval as such. We can just take it for an SVA and just pay the fees for that, which is like about 90 quid for the test. It's 90 quid for the test, and then they'll go over everything. They'll check it all over, make sure it's all safe, and like they have a bloody big stick that they'll walk. That one of the reasons why I won't take it painted is because they have like dollies and stuff that they use to test all contact points. So if you're in an accident, you can't have any sharp edges. Anything that's protruding has to have a 2.5 mil radius on it. So they have a tool that they'll go over and run down any protrusion of the bike. So if you've got nice, perfect, fresh paintwork and they jam this stick outside of your bike and put a big scratch in it, you can't do anything about it because you know they're going to test for it.
That's it, isn't it? It's so we had Bob ask in Canada, can a bandana be a front mudguard? I mean, fender mudguard.
If you wrap it close enough and hold it down so it skims your wheel, it stops a lot of shit spraying at you.
No, but obviously, I'm guessing he's asking in respect of like for legality, like when it comes to an MOT.
I don't know. I have got bikes through without front mudguards on. Like my sporty chop, that's not got a mudguard on it, and that even my 535 didn't do it. I didn't have a mudguard. I just had a bandana around for that. as long if you slide the bandana up the forks, they'll get it through a test. But it's down to the MOT tester with that now, especially as they changed a lot. They've changed
it's getting worse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's purely the MOT tester whether they approve it or not. And for the most part,
I mean, where I used to take my bikes before, like you say, passed the ZX10 a couple of years ago, and he was fine about it. And then obviously COVID had. I can't remember what had happened. No, sorry. He passed one of my 125s that had even an LED headlight and different things on it. And then 5 years later, obviously, I've now gone up with the ZX10 to take that to him. I haven't had the 125 on the road for a while. And he looked at it. He's like, I can't, Josh. And I'm like, well, what do you mean you can't? He's like, well, and I started getting a bit pissed off. He's like, it's got LED headlight. It doesn't have a light beam. I'm like, but, and then I happened to go around and see my brother-in-law's brand new Harley, which has got an LED headlight. And I was like,
it's a weird ruling that they brought out because like you say with the Harleys, like the Daymaker lights, they actually do give a beam pattern now the way they set, but a lot of the old stuff didn't. It was just a flat projector, and that which is really annoying because there was some really cool headlights that you used to be able to get, like really friggin' awesome looking ones. But now it's legal because they decided to change all the ruling on it. Like you could do the LED conversion where you're still stuck with your original bulb, like so you still have the reflector in the back of it, and you just got an LED conversion light for it instead of running like an H3 bulb or something. And now that illegal do them, it's got to be a complete sealed unit.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like I say, it is mad. It's madness. But I think it's just like I say, they just don't want us on the road. I think they're just trying to find any way to get us on the road.
Trying to get rid of all the old stuff because obviously now they try to do 2035 is when they try to end everything and make it electric for bikes. And I think they are just trying to like bring in as much legislation and ruling as they can to stop people enjoying the motorsports, which is not. It's not right. I mean, everybody that rides has their own style, their own way of riding, and their own enjoyment from it, and their own reasons for riding. Whether that be just you're riding with a club, or you're just riding with your mates, or you're just riding on your own just for the sheer sake of it. Or whether your only mode of transport to get to and from work, you're doing it as a commuter. But with the way some of the ruling is now, like it's pushing people to not want to ride because you can't do some of the stuff like that you could get away with 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's it, and it is a tricky one. So I wanted to ask actually, with regards to all the billet stuff, have you guys got a website for people to see that stuff on? Yeah,
it's dlcyclefab.co.uk.
Awesome. So
link to the web shop on there. It's got all our stuff, all our own products on there, everything that we make and have manufactured for us. Like I said, all our stuff is done. It's all UK made as well. Nothing's imported. It's all made right here in the UK. Like the CNC shop we use is across the yard from us. He's a really good friend of ours.
That's cool.
And all the material he uses as well. Like we make everything's made out of 6082 T6 aerospace grade aluminium. So it's higher grade than 90% of the stuff that you get online. Like most people use 6061 because it's just readily available. But like our CNC guy was an aerospace machinist at one point. And so it's all he uses. He swears by the stuff. So we're like, you know what you're doing. You know the composition of materials. Here's what we want making. But all the material, like when we were first setting up to get all the parts started machining, like he sources the material from the UK as well. Like so, the entire thing from raw material to the finished product is all made right here in the UK.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And I suppose, like I say, if that's something that you feel that you're proud of, and that you can at least, do you know what I mean?
He's keeping I'm all for importing parts from like America, as long as you can get some good stuff from like the China market, and like every now and again you get the really crap stuff. But like for some of the parts, like there is a lot of bits that I'll import from the States or from like Germany or the Netherlands with our suppliers through the shop and with our dealers and everything. But for like all our own stuff, it's all has to be UK sourced, because it's not only are we supporting like UK manufacturing, but it's supporting the country as well, because it's keeping everything in-house, and we know the grade of material, then we know where it's come from and we can trace it back to its source. Like a lot of it is like some of the aluminium that we use is made in Wales, so we know exactly where it's coming from and there's a trail for it, so we know the quality is going to be there, because we know exactly what it's made out of as well.
Yeah,
like some bits that you buy, like I'm assuming you've bought like eBay out billet parts.
Oh mate, mate. Well, I mean, it's a hard
Like
the seat off the ZX10's eBay, the rev gauge is eBay, like the SP Project can is a fake Chinese. Like that's what I mean. So like obviously, me building my stuff again, it's different, isn't it? I'm not building it for some stranger to buy it and ride it. I understand why you're using the standard of stuff you're using, because at the end of the day, you're building it, it's got your name on it, that you're fundamentally somewhat responsible, where you're responsible for that bike to be solid and be up to the task. So it makes full sense. Like, it does make sense.
But it goes back to the quality of it. Like as you know, like you can get some really amazing stuff from, like really awesome quality stuff from China. I'm not knocking it in any way. I'm not.
No, mate. I mean, it's never going to be the same.
With it.
Yeah.
But like you can get some really good bits, but then if you look at some of the stuff, I feel the weight of some of the aluminium. Like it's like that's not a good grade.
No.
And which is why, like with our stuff, we pride ourselves on knowing where it's come from and what we've got, because then we can the way that we do it with everything, whether it be parts, paint, or just the building or the fixing of bikes, is if we wouldn't put it on our own personal bikes, I'm not going to try and sell it to anybody else.
No,
because
exactly.
if I wouldn't risk my own life with that shit, I'm sure shit not going to risk anybody else's.
And I think when it comes to Chinese stuff, it's like, obviously you can go on eBay and, for example, you can literally buy a full Cafe Racer like subframe. At the end of the day, you would be stupid to use that. I think it's about knowing what you can use and what you shouldn't use. At the end of the day, I built the whole subframe from. I bought the steel in the local steel shop in York. Obviously I used an eBay seat, but the seat's different. At the end of the day, it's still made of plastic.
A seat's
do you know what I mean?
Obviously,
as long as it's mounted and not going to fall off, But definitely. Obviously, you've got to know. You've got to have an understanding of what you can use off of eBay, for example, from China, and what you shouldn't be using. And again, like I know that the stuff I build, I'm not building it to sell it. I'm building it because I want to keep it, and I might have to sell the ZX.
The pure fun of building it, and
do you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, it's mate, we've just been an hour and 53 minutes. We've done all right. We have done all right. So I think we should maybe leave it there. And obviously,
I think people might be getting bored of us by now. So obviously, hours with bikes.
I know it's a true, honestly, it's a true privilege and honor to sit and talk to you guys. So for people that want to get a hold of you, obviously you can get a hold of you on Instagram, and you're on Facebook as well, aren't you? Because I tagged you on Facebook.
DL Cycle Fab on Facebook, DL Cycle on Instagram. Website's dlcyclefab.co.uk, and it's got all our information on there as well. You can contact us via email, and we do have a contact us section on the website as well. So you can either call us, phone the shop if if you're in the UK, or even if you're not in the UK, you can phone the shop. But as long as it's in the middle of the night, you're all right. But yeah, any social media you can get us on, or like the main ones, like Facebook, Instagram, and everything, and then through the website. And like I say, if on the website, if people want parts, we are a registered dealer with pretty much all the big manufacturers.
And you ship your own billet parts worldwide as well for people that want to order across the world.
Yeah, we send everything
awesome.
Worldwide shippable, t-shirts, parts, and pretty much any of our own products we can ship anywhere.
That's cool. That's cool. So I think we'll end the live stream there. And obviously, like, again, I want to thank you both for sitting here and listening to me for this long.
Well, happy to. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having
us. It's cool. It's honestly, it's so, like, I just love the fact that, like, because at the end of the day, like, I can't sit here and talk technical bravado with you guys because I don't know all the technical bravado, you know. And it's nice the fact that you guys know that, because obviously I make it clear, like, look, I'm not the dude that's going to get you 1 million views, and I'm not the dude that's going to be able to sit and talk grades of material with you. Like, I believe I keep myself very honest in that respect, and to still have you take your time out of your day. And, you know, I know you had to you guys had to reschedule some plans you had this evening to sit and talk with me, I believe, which is, you know, it's awesome. It's cool as hell. I truly appreciate it.
Nice. It's not a problem. It's been fun. It's been fun. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself.
That's cool, man. I'll end the live stream.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah.